Well, it's that time again, folks. We are back for the Season 2 Championship here at LFR, and we are here in Belgium at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit for the Formula 4 Championship for the Belgian Grand Prix. So this 7-kilometer circuit, 4-mile circuit as well, in case you were wondering about the miles. 20-turn circuit with 2 DRS zones to help encourage overtaking is a phenomenal Grand Prix. Of course, we're here at Spa, viewers. It's a iconic track. It's a classic track. It's been on Formula 1 calendars for a very long time, really. And the speeds for around here are going to be absolutely phenomenal as well. As I mentioned, there is 19 corners of the track and 2 DRS zones to help encourage overtaking for around here. And the really powerful DRS zone is going to be in between Radion and Le Combes. That's going to be the Kemmel Straight heading down to turn 5. And we're going to see speeds up to around 200 miles per hour. Of course, it depends on your downforce levels. And of course, there's a second DRS zone, but it's not that powerful. It's on the pit straight heading down to the first turn, but if drivers get a good exit out of the final bus stop chicane at turn 19 and turn 18, then they might have a good run to send it down the inside on their rival into La Sauce at turn 1. All right, so let's get the racing underway. Let's get the qualifying session underway, and let's get the next LFR event underway here in the league. This is the LGE coverage of Formula 4's championship, the Thursday division, and we're back for the championship here today between these 5 different teams, the custom championship, as we call it, and this is round 5 for the Belgian Grand Prix at the Circuit Spa-Francorchamps. All right, so if in case you're wondering who I am, well, I'm Formula Jonah, your commentator for today, as we prepare for this qualifying session, this full qualifying session. I'll explain about that in a moment, but I do want to remind you all, if you are new to the LGE YouTube channel, please make sure to subscribe to not just see more LFR content, but to see LSR content as well, as LGE provides content from LFR and LSR, which allows for 5 different racing days of the week, which is absolutely phenomenal, as we race on the weekends in LSR and race on the weekdays here in LFR. So yeah, definitely subscribe to not miss out on all the content from both leagues. And if you're enjoying the commentary so far, if you're enjoying the racing so far here in LFR, make sure to like the video as well and send in some comments, viewers. This would be highly appreciated, and this would be great for us to answer some of those questions as well. If you have any predictions, questions, and thoughts on this upcoming Grand Prix, let us know down in the comment section down below. We will try and answer those as soon as possible. But right now, we are in a one-shot qualifying session because we have this is the Q1 session. As you can see at the top is Apex Finley, the new Jordan driver, goes on to provisional pole, or the fastest lap time. And yeah, so right now we're in Q1. We're in that one qualifying session before we head into the second, then the third. Let me quickly explain this in case you were curious to know what exactly is going on in terms of the format for today's race. So we have a full qualifying session, so that means drivers will have 3 different sessions, and each lap time will progress them into the further session, and Q3 is where you're going to set the times for pole position, and the top 10 will be able to score times into that particular session. Oh no, Kingsholm is out of the session. That is the Force India driver out, and as I was about to say, whoever is out in this session cannot participate in Q2 or Q3. They're going to have to wait till the race itself. So Kingsholm's going to have to go out in the official Grand Prix, and that is basically his qualifying over. So right now, viewers, we're in Q1. We have probably the longest session on the grid. I do believe it is the longest session out of the qualifying sessions in LFR. And yeah, so the top 5 will go in, the top 15 will actually go into Q2, and the bottom 5 will be eliminated. That's kind of how that works out. So from 16th down, usually if there's 20 drivers, it would be 16th down. So that means, like, Kingston will not be appearing in qualifying. If Zayak and James and Janaudi are not able to improve on their times and get up there, I doubt that's the case. But if they are able to not get into qualifying too, then they will be knocked out and won't be appearing in Q2. Q2, however, is very different because the top 10 make it in, and the bottom 5 of that particular session will go into the waiting room until the official session gets underway. So that means from 11th down to 15th, all those drivers will be eliminated from Q2. Also, an interesting fact, which we'll get into once we get into that Q2 session, is the strategy as well, because whatever tire you qualify on in the Q2 session, you will head into the race, and with those tires, of course. So this will be quite interesting. We'll see how that all works out. It's going to be a very, very interesting session in terms of the strategy, as well as tire wear is a very interesting concept here at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. And then, of course, we got the Q3 session, which is the top 10 all setting lap times and battling for pole position to see who will start on pole for the race here in Belgium. And then we head into a normal 50% race, so no sprint race. We are going to be doing that in a few races time, but today we're just doing a full qualifying session and then heading into a Grand Prix itself. Now, I want to keep an eye on Zayek, who's down in P18, yet to set a lap time into this particular session. He needs a good one here if he's able to get into Q2. He's got 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining of the Q1 session. Oh, and Zayek spins off! And that is wing damage for the Braun driver. Zayek off the track, and that means he's going to have to go out again and actually pit to put on a new fresh wing, because that wing is completely destroyed, and he needs to come into the pit lane to get a new wing. So that's a little unfortunate for the Braun driver, who's going to have less time to set a lap time and get himself into Q2, but we'll see how that all works out. Now, Bentley, they are currently sitting down in P16 and P19. Two drivers that need to set lap times are Gennady and James. James was on fire in the race in Bahrain. Absolutely phenomenal. If you guys did miss out on the race in Sakir, definitely go check that out. It was a phenomenal race. And Zayek was just saying in the comments that he had purple in Sector 1, and unfortunately, it just he wasn't able to continue on that particular lap. Now, a few things I want to talk about is particularly the drivers and the teams itself, because we got to talk about all 5 teams and kind of debrief of what happened in Bahrain last time out. And yeah, we'll get some more information on the teams for today's session in a moment, because we're going to be watching this qualifying session unfold. And meanwhile, we will talk about what happened in Bahrain and what these teams need to do. So let's first start off with Ford. Let's start off with Ford. Why not? They had a mixed session, I'd say. It was going really well, and then I noticed that they would start to drop back a little bit, which was a little unfortunate. There would be a few mistakes, and I think they just need a good result today as a team, as it seems like there has been some great results for the Ford team, but it's more been individually setting good lap times and setting good results in the Grand Prix. I feel like that they need to get a good result as a full team in the session. So I'm hoping that the Ford drivers will be able to continue on in the session, hopefully get a good result as a team. Now, another team I want to talk about is Jordan, as Lewis actually just went 3rd for the Jordan team, so we'll right on board with the Jordan cars. We're talking about them. Jordan, let's talk about their season, because I gotta admit, it's been a very, very difficult season for them, starting off in Portugal and heading all the way to Belgium. The first 4 races have not gone to plan. They really have not. It's been a very, very difficult start to the season for Jordan, but there is a glimmer of hope, and a big one at that, because today we have announced that a new driver will be joining Jordan, and I think he's already showing that he's got the pace. Apex Finley, who we know from the other F1 divisions of LFR, and Apex Finley, he's the new Jordan driver, full-time driver now, and looking really strong, as he thinks that he's actually good for that lap time, so he's not going to go out again. But wow, yeah, Apex Finley, great driver. I definitely think that he's got the pace for the Jordan team, and maybe he'll be able to help the Jordan team be able to get some good results in the Grand Prix. Lewis as well, another great driver. He wasn't in Bahrain last time out, wasn't able to make that one, but he's back here today in Belgium. We know how quick Lewis can be, so I expect Jordan to make a comeback, and they definitely need that, because if they're able to get into a good result in the Grand Prix itself, if they're able to get some good points, like a top 5 finish for 2 cars, or maybe like a top 8 finish for 2 cars, I think they'll be satisfied with that, and that'll give them a little bit more confidence. Now, Another team I want to talk about is Bentley, because Bentley it's kind of been a roller coaster for them, actually. It's been up and down for the Bentley team. Qualifying for James did not go well in Bahrain, but he turned it around in the sprint and the race itself. And wow, it was a commanding drive from James. It really showed his pace, and I think Bentley, they just need to continue this form. That's all I can really say. Braun had a difficult race. I think there was a few incidents they were involved in. I think a few of them were not their fault. I know that there was an incident with Zayek and King Benny on like the final few laps of the race, but they need a good result. They need to get some good points in today's Grand Prix. Hopefully bounce back after a difficult Bahrain Grand Prix. Although Cass did grab a podium, if I'm not mistaken. I think he grabbed second, so that was a good result for Braun at Bahrain. If you're talking about one of their drivers getting a good result. Now, the final team I want to talk about is Force India, who have had a very strong start to the season, arguably one of the best starts to the season for the LFR grid, and it's really been Big Weir, who has taken 3 different victories and a second place in Portugal. It has been a dominant performance from Big Weir. He has done an absolutely amazing job to continue on, and he's looking to take, yes, his 4th race victory in a row, if my math is correct. So he won in, where did he win? Oh my goodness, now I'm forgetting. Austria, that's right. He won in Austria, and he won in Spain, and he won in Bahrain, and maybe could be winning here in Belgium. 4 wins in a row. Is that possibly something that can happen for Big Weir? We'll find out. But anyway, enough with the teams. I want to get into the action. We're seeing some comments come in that says, can't hear anything from stream. Hopefully you guys can hear my voice. Comment down below if you can't hear my voice, because if that's the case, I do need to know about that. On my end, it seems that it's okay. But we did have a comment that came in that says, can't hear anything on stream. Maybe that's the cars. Maybe the car's a little bit too quiet. That could be just because of the off camera there. But yeah, please let me know if you can't hear anything, viewers. That would be not good, of course. And Zayek's coming to the line now. Let's see what he can do. Can he set a decent lap time? Yes, he does. Goes up into the top 5 now, so good lap from Zayek there. All right, good to know. So it seems we have another comment came in that says, can hear you and the cars. Good to know. Okay, thank you very much. Just want to make sure that everything was going well. I hope that person that commented has got the issue maybe figured out, or maybe it's not working on certain people's ends. Not exactly sure. But anyway, let's get into the racing. Let's get into that final push for these laps. Few drivers that need to get in are James Gianauti. Both drivers need a good lap time. Unsainted is out of the qualifying session. He is not continuing on. So if one of these drivers improves, Unsainted is out of the qualifying session, and he will not be taking part in Q2. So we have to, for Unsainted's sake, we have to hope that these 3 drivers do make mistakes. And I'm assuming that they won't, just because these drivers are very consistent. But we'll find out in a moment. Now, James, coming through Blanchimont now into 16 and 17. We're coming into 18 as Lucas A. Germany now goes on to the fastest lap of the session at 1:43.1. Very good lap time from the Bentley. His teammate joins him possibly. James is going to get into the top 10, pushes Unsainted out of the qualifying session. He will not take part. Bentley's other drivers, Brad, who's a new Bentley driver, actually. Keep an eye on Brad, as he'll be hopefully getting a good result in his debut race for Bentley. Gianauti as well, another driver that needs to improve and get up there as he loses the car a little bit. Could that be Gianauti's qualifying session over? We do not know. We'll find out in a moment. I'm trying to see how much time we have left, but the Sector 3 yellow flag is blocking my vision of that. I'm sure we'll get that cleared up in a moment. I do believe the yellow flag is because of a Braun car. Could that be Cass or Zayek? Not exactly sure, as they're still going slowly, actually, in that particular section. Another driver that needs a good lap is Lucas Paul in the Ford car. He needs to get a lap in and hopefully get himself into the qualifying session. But Brad is actually invalidated. Brad is invalidated. He was purple in the second sector, but he has invalidated on that lap. If one of these drivers if Gennady or Lucas Paul improves, then Brad is out of qualifying, which would not be the greatest result for him in his first race for Bentley. But Gennady, his teammate, comes across the line and does improve to 15th, but he's just on the cusp there, and he does push his teammate out of qualifying, as meanwhile Lucas Paul goes into 6th, and that means both Bentley drivers are out in Q1. A big shock for the Bentley team, as 2 of their drivers are out, with one driver, Lucas A. Germany, on the fastest lap of the session. It is a big high for him, but a big low for the rest of the Bentley team, as Gennady and Brad are out in qualifying, and that means we also lose Unsainted and Keensholm from the session. But wow, difficult result for Bentley. I think what happened there is Brad invalidated, that cost his lap, and Gennady messed up in that no-name corner at, I do believe, turn 9, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's unfortunate for Bentley. Both drivers out of the session already before the racing's really begun, before these qualifying laps have really begun. Both Bentleys are out. Unfortunate. But we still have 2 Bentleys in the session, James and Lucas A. Germany, and we know how quick they can be. Lucas, of course, proving that and going on to the fastest lap of the session. James in P7 and looking to get a good result as well. But that concludes qualifying. I do believe that is it. Everything is over. And I think we're just waiting for everyone to come across the line. Maybe, I think we're just waiting for Shug's Life to either retire or the session to close. Not exactly sure. But that is the qualifying session as we head into Q2 with 2 more sessions to go and a big session coming up, especially for strategy. So that's the results from Q1. Lucas A. Germany has the fastest lap time. Apex Finley, the new Jordan driver, is P2, with the Ford of Prior Fib in P3. So 3 different teams in the top 3. Looking really strong, actually, in that session. We have lost a few drivers as well. I do believe it is those drivers, Gennady, Brad, Unsainted, and Keensholm, all out in Q1. The top 15 all make it in. Like I mentioned previously, we have 5 drivers that will be eliminated in Q1, 5 drivers that will be eliminated in Q2, and now we head into that Q2 session. So 11th down will be eliminated. The top 10 go into qualifying 3, and they'll be able to fight for that pole position. And right now, viewers, let's talk about strategy, because this is where drivers will be qualifying on whatever tire they feel is the best, because strategy is a very interesting thing for around here in Belgium, because it's kind of mixed. Degradation is not too bad, but you don't want to take the tires for too long because the tires can degrade once you get to a certain point. So I expect a few drivers maybe to go for a medium tire. We will find out. Actually, we're seeing a few drivers on our screen to the left. You can see on the leaderboard there, actually, more than half of the field are on the medium compound tires, which is very interesting. We're actually going to get on board with Shug's Life, who's on the mediums right now. His teammate Big Weir is also on the medium, so Force India might be going all for medium tires this particular session, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, strategy. Let's quickly talk about that. In case you were unaware of what the strategy is like for around here, I did mention that degradation is a little bit more than other tracks like Austria and Brazil. Those 2 tracks in particular are not too bad in terms of the degradation. But this track, the tires can degrade a little bit. It's not too bad though. So if you're going to start on the soft compound tires, you want to take those softs to around lap 7 or lap 8. This, of course, is without any weather or safety cars, so just the typical strategy, the normal strategy that you would do from the softs in case there was no changeable conditions or incidents. So yeah, you want to pit around lap 7 or 8. The predicted pit stop strategy will most likely say take the softs to lap 8 because the degradation can get quite high once you get to lap 6. But the thing with this track is it's very similar to the Silverstone circuit in terms of the tires getting up to temperature. Oh, and hold on a second. I'm going to interrupt what I'm saying because we did have a comment that came in, I do believe from Zayak actually. He said it is going to be a wet race in the middle of it, the second half actually. So that actually completely changes everything of what I said. So thank you so much, Zayak, for letting us know about that. That is huge information for our commentary info. So with that in mind, we can now talk about strategy. So since there's rain towards the end of the session and the second half of the session, drivers are going to be wanting to qualify on the medium compound tires because if you pit onto the softs around lap 7 or 8, the rain's just going to come in the next 5 laps. And halfway mark of the session would be around lap 12. And if you can take the softs to lap 12, it's okay, but I wouldn't recommend it. That's why mediums are the better option here, because if you want to take the softs to around lap 12, let's say rain comes exactly at lap 12, halfway distance of the Grand Prix. We're just going to use this as an example. If rain comes at lap 12, then the tires, those soft tires are going to be so degraded that they're not going to be able to keep up, and those drivers that are on the mediums may even gain an entire pit stop on the driver on the soft compound tires. So you kind of get what I mean. The softs are just not good, and the thing is too is that even if the weather prediction says the rain is coming on lap 12, it's probably not going to come on lap 12. It's probably going to come like 2 laps later. And you need absolute precision when you're on the soft compound tires because you have to manage that a little bit more due to those degradation. If you have to go a lap longer than expected, okay, I'm losing my words. If you know what? Nope, I'm not going to say it because I'm just going to make it more confusing. Anyway, my point is that you want to qualify in the mediums. That's my point. Sorry if I made that too confusing. Anyway, let's get into the session here today. Let's get into this Q2 session. We got around 11 minutes remaining of Q2. A lot of drivers on the softs, a lot of drivers on the mediums. Like I mentioned, drivers are going to want to qualify on the medium compound tires so they can last to the intermediates once that rain does come. But I'm sure a lot of drivers will want to qualify on the softs as well to start in a try and get into Q3. So we'll see how that works out. But a lot of action coming our way, viewers. A lot of action because we're going to see a very mixed grid due to those tires as Shockby Light now goes on to provisional pole or the fastest lap as we are in Q2 and not Q3. Shockby Light in the Ford, a 143.6 as Lucas Paul joins his teammate in P2. So both Fords in the top 2, but the gap between the first and second is extraordinary, and that is just down to the tires, really. As Zayak now goes into P2 on the soft compound tires, it's a 144.3 for the Braun driver. And yeah, this is going to be quite interesting. We could see a few names that are usually qualifying like in the top 5 could be out in Q2, which would be highly unexpected, but anything can happen, especially with the tires. As Apex Finley now goes on to P2, and I gotta say, Apex Finley, what a driver right now. He is proving that he could be on pole position for today's race. He has just qualified in P2 on the medium compound tires with a 144.2, and is just 0.8 behind. Wait, did I do that correctly? 0.6 behind the Ford driver. Oh, and that is weird. Maybe it was... Okay, so hold on a second. That's really weird. Zayak has commented that he says that he's actually on the medium compound tires. That's really odd. Because it shows right now he's on the softs and his car shows he's on the soft. That is very strange. I have no idea why that is the case. But yeah, Zayak, thank you so much for letting us know. So viewers, Zayak is on the medium compound tires, not the soft compound tires. I have no idea why the game has glitched that. But that is that. So we have a lot of drivers to set lap times. I think Lucas A. Germany went out for a warm-up lap because his lap time is a 148.1. I definitely think he can improve on that time. So we'll see if Lucas A. Germany is able to improve on that time, go faster. He's on the soft, so he might be going into a top 2 performance here. He might be able to take the fastest lap in the session here. But we'll find out. What's his purple? Is he purple in the first sector? Not exactly sure. Anyway, we have a few drivers going on laps. We're going to actually ride on board with Lewis, who's just gone into P6. Actually, he's not setting a lap. He's not going to set a lap time. He's already set a lap time as Lewis is in P6. I'm trying to find a driver to ride on board with for a lap here, so you guys get an onboard of the official lap of the Grand Prix. Maybe Apex Finley, or no, he's coming into the pit lane. So we'll have to wait a bit until we get a full onboard lap with these drivers. Maybe we'll do that in Q3. Then we can see how fast these drivers are going out there. Because right now in Q2, viewers, it is really just trying to get into Q3. These drivers are not going to be pushing as hard as we think they are. As they're just trying to set a good lap time. Set a lap time that'll get them into Q3. They're not pushing as hard. So that's that. I think we have 7 minutes remaining of the session. We have a few drivers coming out on track. Big Weir is out on a lap time right now. So he's going to warm up those tires and then go for a lap. And he's actually going out on the soft compound tire. So he believes that the mediums are not the way. That is a very interesting strategy from Big Weir. So maybe, just maybe, this is a difference in strategy here. Is he trying to take these softs to the rain period and try and maybe go like 12, 13 laps depending on when the rain is exactly coming? I don't know. We'll find out. And this is the thing, viewers. Because Codemasters doesn't allow us to see the information about when the rain is coming, we have no idea. And, I mean, it's kind of unfortunate. I wish that was in the game. Hopefully it will be in 2022 once that comes out in due time. But we'll see. And we did have a comment that came in that said Big Weir equals tire management goat. You know, I have to agree with that, actually. Big Weir has done some incredible jobs on strategy. He's worked out to take those tires for a long distance. So that's actually a good point. Big Weir might be going to take these softs to the inters period, and that's probably what he's doing right now. But I'm very surprised that he's going out on the softs and not the mediums, because I think he probably would have been safe if he stayed on the medium compound tires, unless he thinks that these drivers are going to be able to improve on their times. And I see his point, because he could be at serious risk of losing that position. And maybe he just doesn't want to put too much degradation on the medium compound tires, because if he went out again on the mediums, it would put more degradation on those tires, and so maybe he just thought the softs might be better. I don't know. We're actually going to ride on board with Big Weir, and we're going to take a full onboard lap with a Force India driver and the 3-time winner of the LFR Season 2 Championship. So down the pit straight, coming down to turn 1, Losas, you want to make sure you brake at the 100-meter board as we come out of turn 1, shifting up as fast as possible. It's a very difficult corner, Losas, as we come up the hill, the most difficult corner on the calendar and probably the most recognizable corner on the F1 calendar as well. It's a Rouge and Radion. Up the hill, DRS enabled, you're going to see speeds up to around 205 miles per hour. Of course, that depends on your downforce levels. It's in between 200 and 205 miles per hour. Get right in the curb to the left. This is a very difficult zone right here because you don't want to hit the curbs too much. You can either get an invalidation or spin the car very easily. It's hard for me to control the car, to be honest. You want to brake once you see that curb. Give it a few moments, and then you can brake once you see that curb into turn 8 into 9. Now the no-name corner, actually. I think Belgium is actually called it the no-name corner. Into 10 and 11, you're going to shift down to 6th, maybe 7th gear. Puon. This is called, as you do not want to get to the curb on the left. You can spin the car very easily. Into a chicane turn, I do believe it's turn 12 and turn 13, campus section. Into a right, then a left. You go very wide on the exit of 13, but not too wide, of course, as you can get an invalidation. Into a little bit of a straight, and that sector 2 zone as Big Weir is purple in the second sector, going really quick as he comes through one of the most fastest sections of the entire track besides the DRS zone. This is the Blanchimont section of the track, and you're going to see slipstream like you've never seen before. Speeds up to around 197 miles per hour down into the tightest chicane on the circuit and a massive traction zone. Out of the final corner, this is where the car kind of loosens up a bit and you have to control it. To the line, Big Weir goes into a 142.9. He goes into the 142s and a very good lap time from the Force India driver, and that is a lap of the Belgian Grand Prix Spa-Francorchamps circuit, one of the longest circuits on the F1 calendar, in fact. So it looks like Q2 is about to end. 3 minutes remain of this session. Shock Be Like going out on the mediums once again. And actually, he is going to go out on the medium tire, even though I mean, I don't know this for sure, but I don't think he can improve because those soft tires are gonna allow. I mean, when he set those soft tire run, I think he set a better lap time than the mediums. I don't think he's going to be able to get into like a 143.4 on a medium compound tire. I don't think that's possible. So either he's just trying to use up the mediums maybe to get some practice out on there, or he believes that he might be able to improve on the medium compound tires. I mean, those soft tires were 3 laps old when he set a lap time. So I mean, is there a possibility that he can go into a 143 as Lucas A. Germany now goes into the 142s and joins Big Weir in the 142.9s, and that is the fastest lap by Lucas A. Germany. But yeah, going back to Shock Be Like in the Ford, I don't know if it's possible for this particular group to go into a 143.4 on the mediums or a 143.5 on the mediums. It's going to be really difficult. But, I don't know. I've seen it before for around here in Belgium. I don't know. I mean, this tier has been insanely quick and has surprised us all at many different times. So, who knows? We'll see. But we got around a minute remaining of the Q2 session. We're just waiting for these drivers to kind of finish up lap times here. I think we need to look at the bottom 5 here. Pistol Racing, invalid lap. He cannot improve on this lap. He's going to have to go for another one. Shug's Life does retire from the session. He's retired in the pit lane, I do believe, so he believes that his lap time is good enough for Q3. Groenfeld in the Braun. Difficult race last time out in Bahrain, but he is in P15. Hopefully this is not a difficult one yet again here in Belgium, as he needs a good lap time. He needs a lap time. He hasn't set one yet, so he needs one. I'm sure he'll be able to do that. He's just got to make sure that he doesn't get an invalid lap time. Flea needs another lap. He's on the sauce now. Might be able to get into the top 10. Hopefully he does. He's got the pace. So we'll see how that works out. James as well and Cass, we know they got pace as well. So I expect a few drivers to set lap times. And I think Prior Thib could be at risk of getting knocked out in Q2. Same with Lewis, maybe even Lucas Paul. Zayek, I think the top 5 are okay. Waitsy's actually going to go out for another lap, though. I think from 6th down, they all need to go out again and try and improve. The top 5 should be safe, but Waitsy believes that he's going to go out for another one and try and improve on that time. And another thing to mention as well is that sometimes drivers like to go out on the softs for a last lap shootout and just try and set a lap time, but if they're still in the top 10, then they'll back out of that lap time. It's I call it the Mercedes strategy, because every time in, like almost all the time in qualifying, I think it was 2019 and 2020, Mercedes would set laps on the softs and their time would never be broken. They would just back off in the final corner. So I call it the Mercedes strategy. So I don't know. We'll see if this works out with these drivers today. We'll see if they're going to be doing the same thing. I got a feeling that Waitsy and Apex Finley are probably setting lap times on the softs, and if they're not at risk of getting knocked out in Q2, then they'll probably back off of their lap times. That is Waitsy off the track, and the Ford driver has his lap time basically done. He is done with the session, as Cass and Groenfeld, 2 Braun drivers, have just gone into the top 7. Waitsy actually might be at risk here, because James has just gone into P4. Waitsy down to 8th now. Groenfeld into P7 now. Wow, a lot of times has come in fast as these drivers now set lap times on the soft compound tires. Zayek now at risk. Lucas Paul and Lewis are out in Q2. Lewis has not improved on his time. He is P12 at best. Prior Thib needs a lap time as well, as Pistol Racing's also come into the pit lane. So 2 Jordan drivers out in Q2. A disappointing day for those 2 drivers, as Lucas Paul is also out as well. Prior Thib round the final corner. This is his chance to get into Q3. What can he do? He does get into Q3, goes P4, and now Zayek is down at P11, and he's got to get a good lap time. Same with Apex Finley. Apex Finley to the line now. What can he do? He goes on to the fastest lap of the race. He is safely in. Zayek, as Flea goes P11, Zayek goes into P4. Flea is out of qualifying. Waitsy now. Waitsy could be out. Waitsy's definitely out, actually, because he's got wing damage, and this is incredibly unfortunate, and I did not expect these times to come in that fast, but Waitsy, that spin has just cost him qualifying. It is Waitsy out in Q2, and that is a shocker of a driver out in Q2. I told you guys, drivers that are usually fighting for the top 3 could be out in Q2, and it's happened. Waitsy out, Flea out, Lucas Paul out, and Lewis and Pistol out of Q2. So the drivers that did make it in are Apex Finley, Lucas A. Germany, Big Weir, Zayek, Cass, Prior Thib, James, Shock Be Like, Shug's Life, and Gronfeld all into qualifying on the softs as well. That is interesting. So everyone is qualified on the soft compound tires, and that means that we're going to get a very, very interesting Grand Prix now, because then we're going to get drivers possibly putting onto a 2-stop in the Grand Prix just because the rain, because I don't know if you can make those softs to the halfway mark of the Grand Prix. The tires start dropping off massively at lap 8. So I think they're going to have to pit at least twice, because they're going to have to pit onto another set of compound tires before that rain comes. And then once that rain does come, they'll have to pit onto an intermediate compound tire, or if the conditions get really bad, they'll have to pit onto a wet compound tire. So what I can say is this race is about to be insanely interesting. So Apex Finley is the fastest in today's session, proving that he's got the pace. Lucas A. Germany in P2, and the 3-time winner of LFR's Season 2 Formula 4 Championship, Big Weir, and current championship leader is in P3. Okay, so this is Q3. We have about 11 minutes of this Q3 session. This is where we will see the fastest laps in LFR's Formula 4 Championship Belgian Grand Prix, because in the race, they're not going to be as close as qualifying, and of course, this is where these drivers are pushing as hard as possible. This is it. This is the qualifying session you want to watch, viewers, because it's just going to be incredibly intense, and anyone can grab pole today. I really do believe that anyone has got a chance of getting pole today, and that's how close it's going to be. 3 Braun drivers into qualifying, 1 Jordan, 2 Force India, 2 Fords, and 2 Bentleys. Very interesting. As Keen's almost left the session, hopefully he can rejoin, as hopefully it's not a glitch or something like that. But hopefully he can rejoin the session in due time. We'll see if he can. But Q3 is underway. We're seeing a few drivers coming out on track, and we're going to wait for those drivers to set some lap times. And while these drivers are coming out on laps, I do want to let you guys know about the racing here in LFR and LSR and LGE as a whole. What we're trying to do, viewers, is get ready for the next seasons of LFR and LSR, because we got a lot of stuff planned, viewers. I've actually been talking a lot with the LGE members, and we got a lot of stuff planned. So stay tuned for more content at LGE. It's going to be one of the biggest channels for YouTube, you know, in terms of like league content. I think we're going to be posting a lot of stuff, because we have 2 different leagues posting content on each league. We got a lot of stuff planned, so just letting you know about that. But I do want to let you guys know about what's going on as a whole of the week of racing here on LGE. So in terms of LFR's racing, on Monday and Tuesday we had the Limitless 1 and Limitless 2 racing tiers racing. Incredible races once again. Check those out if you did not catch up on the LFR content from both of those tiers. And then of course today we have Formula 4. and me commentating on the Formula 4 Championship. And yeah, that sums up the LFR week. It's been a absolutely phenomenal week, and it's sure to be exciting here in Formula 4. And then after that, we're moving into LSR, and actually, LSR is on break week, so we won't be having any main races that count towards the championship, but we do have an event, and this will actually include LFR as well. LFR and LSR will be entering an event on the GT7 game. It's a GT3 championship, and it's organized by LSR, organized by LGE, and it's 7 different leagues going head-to-head in a championship event that's going to be incredibly intense. It's going to be the 2 hours of Le Mans. It's returning after being absent since last year in April. We held it for LSR, but this time it's going to be all on LGE, commentary provided by myself and Keenzome, as we'll be covering the entire 2 hours of the race itself and covering the content from each team's. LFR will be racing with the Toyota car, and LSR will be racing with the Porsche, and those are both GT3 cars. And then there's also 6 different leagues that are involved in that as well. A huge moment for LSR and LFR and LGE as a whole, as this will be a huge opportunity for the LGE name to get out there. So we'll see how that all works out. And Keenzome has mentioned to everyone that there will be a lobby restart. Not sure why exactly. I wonder if there is a certain glitch. I wasn't able to read the full comment in time. But yeah, viewers, letting you know that there's going to be a lobby restart. I do believe the admins are handling that, but we should have the racing continuing on. I don't know if qualifying 3 will be restarted. I wonder if that's just for the race itself. It probably is, but we'll see how that works out. So we're just going to keep commentating and see what the admins decide. Hopefully the stream will continue on. I hope that we won't have to get rid of the stream due to the lobby glitching. And Keenzome says that we're going to be restarting for the race. So that's good to know. So we will continue to do the qualifying session here today, and then we'll switch to a new lobby. We'll get all that information in due time. So let's commentate on the action. Big Weir has the fastest lap in today's session. Apex Finley is actually, as I say that, Lucas A. Germany has just gone into P1 with a 142.776. He's 2/10 faster than Big Weir. Wow, okay, so Lucas A. Germany, fastest overall onto provisional pole position. Apex Finley, P3, Shockby Light and Prior Thib, P4 and P5 for Ford, looking pretty strong, as I think Shug's Life and Cass, P6 and P7, Gronfeld, Zayak, and James yet to set lap times. They are going to be going out on laps. And hopefully this all works out for Zayak, Gronfeld, and James, as they'll need to continue on with their session and set some good lap times. So 6 minutes remain of the qualifying session. Lucas A. Germany has the fastest lap and has provisional pole position for the Belgian Grand Prix here at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, as Big Weir, the 3-time winner of the LFR season so far, is in P2, as Zayak is purple in the first sector. Let's keep an eye on the Braun driver, as Gronfeld and James yet to set lap times. They're still in the pit lane, so they're going to have to go out for another one. They're going to have to go out for one lap in the qualifying. Zayak loses the car on the exit of the curb. I think he got a little bit too much understeer there and went a little bit too wide and got on that curb, which may have affected his lap. Maybe lost him a 10th or so. But he's still continuing on. Zayak through campus section now into turn 12 we come. You can see Zayak. And he's invalidated. He's invalidated that lap. Zayak is done for that particular lap. And you can see him struggling a little bit with understeer. And I do believe he's maybe running a lower downforce setup. And the thing with downforce for around here, viewers, is that it's quite mixed. It's actually a medium downforce circuit. More lower downforce than medium, but we call it medium because Sector 2 is a very big zone for downforce. You want a lot of downforce in Sector 2 due to those long turns like Campus Section, Stavelo, and Pouan. Those are 3 different corners that are very big downforce corners. So what I mean by that is drivers want to make sure that they don't get a lot of understeer. Another corner to keep an eye on is that no-name corner. You don't want to get too wide. You can get invalidation pretty easily. Same with, actually, pretty much from Les Combes down to Campus. That's kind of where these drivers want to make sure that they have downforce. Through the rest of the track, you're good. You just, all you want is low downforce. And that's what's so interesting about this circuit, is that the downforce levels is so different to anything else, because in certain sections you want higher downforce, and in certain sections you want lower downforce. Through Sector 1 and Sector 3, you want lower downforce. And another thing actually to keep in mind is that Jeddah is a very similar circuit for downforce levels, as well as you want, I'm trying to remember exactly what sectors are which. Sector 1, you want higher downforce setup because of how the turns are kind of, how the layout is on that circuit. So Sector 1, you want a higher downforce setup, especially through that long left-hander at turn 11. And then Sector 2 and 3, you just want low downforce setup because it's mostly straights. Except that I think it's turn 23, where it's that really long left-right. But yeah, Jeddah and Spa are actually very similar in terms of the downforce setups here. But yeah, you definitely want lower downforce setups. That's why Ferrari were actually really quick in 2019, because they had a lower downforce setup. They were really quick on the straights. And that's why they dominated Italy and Belgium in 2019, because they were so quick on the straights, and there's a lot of straights around here. But into Sector 2, with prior Thib, this is where you want higher downforce. Anyway, we want to continue on with the action here today. And we did have a comment that came in from, I think, Zayak, and he said about tires. Let me quickly get that real quickly. All right, wait, hold on. That was weird. Anyway, sorry, there was a little bit of a glitch on my screen. I'm not sure what was happening there. I couldn't see. The screen just went black for a moment. Anyway, Lucas A. Germany through James. The entire grid is going out on track. This has just got really interesting, as these drivers will have one lap to go out. They'll have one lap to set a lap time here. This is going to be absolutely phenomenal, as we will get an absolutely phenomenal end to this qualifying session. It's going to be so intense. So the 4 drivers are the first drivers to set lap time, so we're going to keep an eye on these drivers here. Prior Thib is on a lap, as well as his teammate. You can see Shock below. Oh, and Prior Thib is just invalidated, and that is Prior Thib's last lap of the day. He's going to possibly help his teammate to get a little bit of a slipstream here. That's good. But Prior Thib, that is incredibly unfortunate for him. That is, oh, and Shock be like as well. And Ford have absolutely ruined their chances of getting a top 3 performance, as Shock Be Life has just spun off at the exit of turn 5 at Les Combes. Prior Thib got an invalidation, and it has been an absolute disaster for Ford here in qualifying. P4 and P5, they're not improving. Who else is on laps? I do believe we have, I think, Shug's Life. Shug's Life is the next driver to set a lap time, so we're going to keep an eye on the Force India driver. But this is unfortunate for Ford, as both drivers were in a good position. They still are in a good position, but right now they have to, I don't know what they're going to have to do, because if these drivers improve... Oh, and that's Shug's Life off the track now! Everyone's making mistakes, as Shug's Life is now off the track, and that is his qualifying session over. And so next driver to set a lap time will be Cass in the Braun. And we'll see if the Braun driver can be able to get a good result in this session. As qualifying is now over, Cass in the Braun speeding down to campus section, looking really strong right now, as himself and his teammate Zayak are in P6 and P9, and Zayak yet to set a lap time. Same with Gronfeld as well. Actually, These two are actually all three bronze are on laps and yet to get invalidation, but one has got invalidation is James. One driver that has is James, unfortunately, and James down in P10, and that is going to be absolutely heartbreaking for the Bentley driver. But here comes Cass, the first of this pack to settle lap time. He's currently P6. Can he go into the top three? He goes into the top three by quite a lot. Goes into second position, a 142.9. Great lap from Cass now as he goes into second position. As Zayak now goes on to provisional pole. He goes on to provisional pole position. Zayak is in P1 now. Braun have absolutely obliterated the competition. Lucas A. Germany cannot improve on his time. Big Weir in the Force India is flying out there. Apex Finley round the final couple of corners become with the Jordan driver. Can he go on pole? Yes, he can. Apex Finley beats Zayak's lap time and goes into a 142.503. Great lap from the Jordan driver as Apex Finley goes into first position. But what about Big Weir? He comes to the line and he goes on pole position. Big Weir takes it off of Apex Finley and goes on pole for the Belgian Grand Prix. What a lap from Big Weir there by 1/10 of a second. He beats Apex Finley and Big Weir is on pole here in Spa. What a qualifying session. 3 different drivers set the fastest lap at the end of it, and that was incredibly intense. Big Weir snatches pole here in Belgium. So that's the result. Big Weir is on pole for the Belgian Grand Prix, followed by Apex Finley, Zayak, Lucas A. Germany, Cass, Shockby Like, Prior Thib, Groenfeld, Shugs Life, and James rounding off the top 10. We're actually going to switch to the new lobby now, so just give me a moment. All right, so we're heading to the new lobby now. We should be joining any moment now. We're joining the session, and we will get the racing underway. So there was a little bit of a glitch. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but yeah, we will be joining in a moment, and hopefully we don't get this glitch where it just says joining session forever. Because if we get this glitch, we're gonna have to restart, and that means we're gonna have to restart the stream as well, which is incredibly unfortunate. I hope we don't get this. This is the problem with this game, viewers, is that there's a few glitches. So when you join a new lobby, if you're in another lobby, sometimes this happens where you just can't join. You have to restart the entire game, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna try canceling this. Hopefully this works. I do not want to see the weekly items right now. Give me a moment. Okay, we're gonna join back. We have a comment that comes in that says, "Nailing it, Jonah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much." And that is, I do believe, Isaac that said that. So my co-commentator that usually commentates with me, error, session no longer exists. Of course it exists, games. Oh my goodness, this game sometimes. Sorry. Yeah. Session no longer I don't get that. The session obviously exists. They're inviting me. Give me a moment. Hopefully this works again. Please let me join. Please. Yes. Yes, let's go. Okay, we're in. Thank goodness. 3rd time's a charm. We are here. No restarting. Stay here, viewers. Stay here, please. There was a little bit of a thought to possibly restarting the stream, but we saved it. We saved it. Okay, so what can we talk about while we're in the loading screen? Well, one thing I do want to mention is what's going on right now is the admins are going into all the settings. They are setting the grid. No qualifying. We're just going. Basically, we're just having what's the word? Intermission. That's it. We're just having an intermission in between qualifying and the race. No big deal. It's all good. We're gonna have a short time to chill, talk about some stuff, and then we're gonna head into the Grand Prix itself. But yeah, it's going to be a great race, viewers. It's sure to be round 5, Belgium. Here we go, Spa-Francorchamps. My personal favorite circuit on the F1 calendar. I love this circuit. I always put it as the first race of the season for my league, LSR. But yeah, it's a great one. The Spa-Francorchamps circuit, and it has hosted F1 races since basically the dawn of time, actually, as there has been so many races here. Schumacher still is the leader of the most wins for around here in Belgium. I do believe he took his first win here back in '92. If I'm not mistaken, he took his first win. Yeah, he took his first win in '92 with the Benetton team. I think he did. Correct me if I'm wrong. I probably am wrong. But anyway, that's just from the top of my head. Anyway, yeah, Schumacher still holds the winner's record. Ferrari still have 18 victories here, which is unthinkable, but they do somehow. And that's the last winner that was a Ferrari driver here in Belgium was Charles Leclerc when he took his first race victory here back in 2019. And he might be able to do it again here in 2022. So we'll see if he'll be able to do that once we come to Spa in the summer. But we'll see how that works out in due time. And yeah, the first ever winner here in Belgium was Juan Manuel Fangio. He was driving an Alfa Romeo. And yeah, that was the first winner of the Grand Prix. And that was back in the 50s when Fangio was racing with Alfa Romeo at the time. But yeah, I think we're heading into the Grand Prix now. 17 drivers are in. I think we're just waiting for one more driver to get in. I think the admins will give the cue to ready up and get the racing underway. And this is a great point to talk about predictions. Viewers, send in your predictions for this race if you have any questions about the upcoming race. If you have any anything really, just ask me down in the comments below. I'll try and respond to as many as I can. I usually can't respond to every single comment though, just because of me commentating, and you know, multitasking is quite difficult when commentating. But yeah, definitely send in some comments. I'll try and respond to those. And if you have any predictions as well, who do you think is going to be winning the Grand Prix? Send in first, second, and third positions if you'd like. I'm going to give my predictions now, and I got to remember the grid for this race. Ooh, it's gonna be tough because everyone's quick around here. P1, I'm gonna go. Ooh, this is hard. This is really hard, actually. I didn't think it would be this hard. I'm gonna go Apex Finley. I'm gonna say Apex is gonna break his record of trying to go for or he's going to try and take his first win for Jordan, really. That would be great for Jordan if they can get that. He's going to break Big Weir's record of 3 races in a row win. And I'm going to think, I think Apex Finley is going to be in P1. Then I'm going to go for a little bit more of a bold prediction for P2. I'm going to say James is going to grab second place in the Grand Prix. I think James is going to go into P2 with a commanding drive. He showed it in Bahrain, had some serious pace in that sprint race, and in the race as well. So I'm just going to say James is going to grab second place in the Grand Prix, and I'm going to go Zayak in P3. I think Zayak's going to do another great job and grab that first podium in the league. So we'll see how that works out. But anyway, we're heading into the race now. I think we have our 18th driver that has joined. We're just waiting for the admins to let us know to ready up and get the racing underway. 22 laps await us, the longest circuit in the F1 calendar, but while it's long, it is absolutely thrilling to watch. It is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Rain on its way as well. It's classic Belgium. It has to be rain. It has to be raining during the Belgian Grand Prix. That's just something that happens. So yeah, of course, we don't want too much rain like the 2021 Belgian Grand Prix. We all know what happened there. But yeah, we'll see how this works out. It's going to be a great race, I do believe. A lot of drivers are going to be making their way through the field. Kienzoom starting the back of the grid. Hopefully he can make up a few positions at the start of the Grand Prix. I think Lewis is going to get in there as well. He's got a lot of speed. Waitsy, I definitely think Waitsy's going to be up there. Starting P11 on a fresh compound tire. I think Waitsy's got a chance of a podium today, maybe even the race victory, just because of that strategy he's on, because everyone else is on the sauce. And actually, now that we talk about that, and I did see that comment came in that talked about strategy and how understeer affects strategy and all that sort of thing. now that I think about it, since the lobbies restarted, that allows the soft tires to have less degradation. And so that means that drivers might be able to push the soft tires to the rain period. So we'll see. Hopefully that could affect things. We'll see how that works out. So that could be a great opportunity for soft runners to be able to push those tires to the intermediate tire period. But the question is, rain can come at any time. We don't know exactly when the rain is coming, and that's what makes it so interesting as well. So we're readying up. We're good to go for the racing. 17 out of 18 have ready up. I think we're just waiting on Brad. I have never seen a grid have every single person ready up before the timer goes out. I don't know if we're going to get that before the timer runs out, but yeah, it's all good. So we will have the racing underway. We are ready to go for the Belgian Grand Prix. We are ready to go for a phenomenal race here at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. A lot of action coming our way. And please, viewers, please, if you are new to LGE, please make sure to subscribe, not just to see more LFR content, but LSR as well. We got a lot of content coming in from both leagues. Awesome leagues, really. I commentate on both. I own LSR as well. And yeah, truly amazing. And LGE, a great brand and a great place to watch the content, really. We have a lot of content coming in from LGE, and it is absolutely phenomenal. And like I mentioned earlier on, we have a lot more content coming in for the next seasons on the F1 2022 game. I have some big plans for some stuff to put on the channel, and I hope you will be enjoying that. So yeah, I got some stuff written down, actually. I got a full paper of stuff. But anyway, we are good to go for the Formula 4 race. This is round 5 of the Season 2 Championship event of the TF4 Thursday Formula 4 Championship. This is another race here with these 5 or 4. Wait, 5 or 4? I always get mixed up with the drivers and the teams. It's 5 different teams. With these 5 unique teams, 5 custom teams as well. Whether they have never been in Formula 1 or are past Formula 1 manufacturers, it is great to see them here on the grid. A team I do want to see next season, and hopefully this comes true, is I do want to see BMW on the F1 grid. That would be really cool. Maybe they can make that happen for the 3rd season of the Formula 4 Championship. So yeah, that would be kind of cool. I just had a thought about that. Anyway, we are good to go. You can see the cars all lined up on the grid there. The formation lap is about to begin. And I do believe the top 10 should be all qualifying on the softs. Yes, they do. Waitsy on the mediums, and Flea and Pistol Racing all on the softs. So those 2 drivers on the softs, and the rest all on mediums for the bottom 11. So that's going to be quite interesting. Could we see Flea making a move on Waitsy at the start, trying to get ahead due to those newer tires? Same with Pistol Racing, making his way through the field on those fresher compound tires, those faster compound tires. We will wait and see. So here's the formation lap. I'm going to do a rundown of the grid so you guys know exactly who's in what position here. Big Weir qualifies on pole for the Belgian Grand Prix. He's got Apex Finley alongside him. The Jordan team need a good result in today's race. Hopefully they'll get that with Apex Finley and the drivers of Lewis and Pistol coming through the field. Zayek is P3 for the Braun team with Lucas A. Germany in P4. 4 different teams in the top 4. Great result for all 4 teams. Cass in P5 for Braun alongside Shock Be Like, the first of the 4 drivers. Ford had a difficult Q3 session after both Shock Be Like and Prior Thib made mistakes, I do believe, but hopefully they can turn around in today's race and come back stronger. Prior Thib in the Ford is starting P7, had a Grunfeld in the Braun with Stugs Life P9, and James rounding off the top 10. Waitsy P11 wasn't able to make it into Q3, had that crash at turn 5, but is starting on the medium compound tires and looking to make his way through the field. Keep an eye on him. Flea on the softs as well. Keep an eye on him at the start. He could get a great start and try and overtake Waitsy because Flea's going to be on the fresher and faster soft compound tires. Lucas Paul is P13 for the Ford team with Lewis in the Jordan, the second Jordan on the grid in P14. Pistol Racing, Lewis's teammate, starts P15 with Gennady in the Bentley starting 16th, and Brad, the new Bentley driver with Kinsome, rounding off the grid in P18 for Force India. So one Force India in the lead of today's race. The question will be, can Big Weir lead us away and continue in P1, or will Apex Finley or Zayek or Lucas A. Germany be able to make the move and try and get into P1? Will we see some side-by-side action? Up a Rouge into Radion on the first lap? Well, we'll find out, and we'll find out in a moment because the formation lap is over and we are ready to go for the 22 laps of the Belgian Grand Prix. So right now I'm board with Big Weir. He has a long way down to turn 1. It's an eternity for some drivers, even though it's not that long, actually. But Apex Finley is going to look to go around the outside. Zayek trying to get a good start as well. But here we go. It is time. 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights appear. It's 4 lights, then a 5th light. And we're lights out, and away we go here in Belgium. It's a great start for Big Weir, a great start for Apex Finley, who's going to try and go around the outside of the Force India driver, but the Force India gets ahead. Big Weir maintains P1. There's a car off the track. I do believe wing damage for one of the Fords. Is that Lucas Paul? Maybe. I'm not exactly sure, but we have almost a 3-wide moment between a lot of these drivers here. The Fords trying to make a move on the Braun, who's spun it. The Braun has spun it. Gronfeld off the track. He's got wing damage now. You can see that wing flying up in the air. Gronfeld has unfortunately gone down to P17. There's also a Ford off the track as well. Both drivers have wing damage. But coming down to the Lecombe's, Big Weir leads the way by 0.5 of a second to Apex Finley, who's right behind in P2. Zayek P3 with Lucas A. Germany in the Bentley, trying to go to make that move on Zayek and the Braun. We'll see if he's going to be able to get up there, as the top 4 all stay the same. Briar Thib and Shockby, like I do believe, swap positions, as James slipped to 7th as well. Cass down to 8th. He didn't have the greatest of start. It's down to P8. What a great start from Flea as well. Did get ahead of Wadesy like we predicted in that first formation lap there. Shugslide did not get a great start either, though. He's down to P11. Lewis and Pistol up to 12th and 13th. So a good start for both drivers there. But a pretty clean start for everyone except Kronfeld and Lucas Paul. Kronfeld unfortunately spun on the exit of Radion. Thankfully, he saved the car, but it did not go well for Gronfeld. He's going to have to come into the pit lane as Keenstone's going to try and go to the outside line. Goes a little bit on the grass and has to back out of that one, but it is a great battle forming right here. Keenstone sending it down the inside on Lewis. They go side by side into this particular section of the track. The bus stop chicane as Shugslife comes into the pit lane, possibly pitting onto a medium compound tire. Maybe has wing damage. I think Gronfeld and Lucas Paul will also do the same coming into the pit lane. But we'll find out as look at the front. Apex Finley is right behind Big Weir. Look how close he is. Let's get telemetry out on our screen. ERS is enabled for Apex Finley. Is he going to try and move on Big Weir? He's looking for it. He's using all the ERS he can. He's trying to go around the outside of the Force India. Coming down to turn 5 we go. Big Weir and Apex Finley side by side into Lecombe's. They're still side by side. This is for the race victory, as well as Apex Finley looks to make the move to the outside line, but Big Weir defends like a champion. The Force India keeps ahead. Apex Finley still in P2, and this is a fantastic battle going on here for first. And the Jordan driver is going to have to come back at the Force India as he's looking to make that move as soon as possible. Finley right behind Big Weir. And that Force India going to have to defend once again because here comes Blanchimont Straight. That is the most powerful slipstream section of the entire track, in my opinion, besides Kemmel. As the Kemmel Straight is a very powerful DRS zone with the slipstream. But so is Blanchimont. The slipstream for around this particular section is extraordinary. As Apex Finley, not using any ERS, he's using this as a closing zone as Lewis gets a 3-second time penalty. As this is what you mainly use this particular section for, as a closing zone, because you can't really make a move on that particular section unless you have the speed to go side by side with someone and make a dive bomb into the bus stop chicane. So Apex Finley now sets the fastest lap, Zayek now sets the fastest lap, and pretty much everyone is now setting the fastest lap as Apex Finley looking to get the better exit using ERS now. DRS enabled. This is it. This is a time for Apex Finley to take the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix for Jordan. Let's see if he's able to do that. And Jordan have had really good luck here in the past of F1. They won in 1998 with Damon Hill, as Apex Finley looking to do the same as he's pulling to the outside line using the DRS, the ERS, and he pulls ahead of the Force India. Apex Finley takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. And like I mentioned, Jordan have gone well for around here. So have Force India, actually. Force India took their first ever pole position and their only pole position in Formula One under the name Force India back in 2008. That was the time they took pole position, and Jordan have done well for around here as well. Remember Michael Schumacher, who made his debut with the Jordan car in 1991, that 7-Up Jordan car, and that was a different livery, of course. But, yeah, it's famed in motorsport after Michael Schumacher made his debut for the team. And, yeah, Jordan's got a lot of history here at this circuit. And same with Force India, actually. Now, Zayak has lost a little bit of time to Big Weir, as we see actually a yellow flag. I do believe that is the Bentley, possibly, of Bradfield. I'm not exactly sure, though, as we still have Lucas A. Germany possibly looking for the move on Prior Thib, as there goes the other Ford, a shock be like down the inside on Lucas A. Germany. Luke is struggling a little bit. Not sure what happened. Lewis is out. Lewis is out. Is that a full course safety car? Yes, it is. It is a full course safety car. Oh, and that's a massive crash for Lewis. That's the same place that Giovinazzi and Russell were involved in an incident back in 2019. As Lewis is out of the session, and that is disappointment for the Jordan team, as one car is out of the race and a full course safety car has been deployed. Flea has pit under that safety car. That was really good for him. As wow, this is quite interesting. Safety car out on lap 4. Will any of the soft runners come into the pit lane? We will find out in a moment's time once they come to the pit straight, as they'll have the option to either come into the pit onto the mediums or stay out. And Zayak got a penalty. Where did that happen? I missed that on my screen. He got a 3-second penalty sometime, I think, on the previous lap, or was that this lap? I looked down for a moment to get some water and stuff like that, and he had a penalty. So I'm not sure what happened there, but Zayak has now got that penalty, and that could affect his race result. As, let's see. Let's ride on board with Apex Finley. Is he coming into the pit lane or staying out? He is coming to the pit lane. What about Big Weir? Yes, he does as well. Zayak as well. Prior Thib as well. And Shock Be Like stays out. Fascinating. But everyone else on the softs comes into the pit lane except Shock Be Like. Very surprising, as Gronfeld gets a drive-through penalty. That has just really hurt his race now. And let's see what tires everyone's pitting for. Apex onto the mediums. James coming into the pit lane for a medium compound tires as well. And I think actually every single one of them are coming into the pit lane onto the medium compound tires. So that's quite interesting. So Shock Be Like in P1 for the Ford team stays out on the soft. Was that a good call by the Ford driver? We don't know at this stage. That could be, but we'll find out. Wait, see in the second, Ford stays out as well as Kintome. All 3 drivers stay out. And actually, Gennady stays out as well. So 4 different drivers have stayed out on track. And Shock Be Like is on the softs. So 3 different drivers have stayed out on the mediums and 1 driver on the softs. So strategy could be very interesting here. We'll find out in a moment. So Shock Be Like stays out on track. Waitsy in P2 for Ford with Kingsome in P3. That is the top 3 as we head into lap 5 out of 22 for the Belgian Grand Prix. Safety cars should be coming in this lap or the next one due to the 3 drivers at the back coming around the no-name corner now. So looks like safety car will be staying out for one more lap, and then we will go in on lap 6. But we'll find out how this works out. Oh, and Zayak did say that Prior Thib did jump Big Weir and himself. So that is interesting. Thank you for letting us know, Zayak. Yep, Prior Thib, I was shocked. Be Like has come into the pit lane. Very interesting. So he decided to stay out on those softs for a lap. I'm not sure why he did stay out. Maybe he missed the pit lane or something like that. And I don't know. He's down to P9 though. So that is interesting. Prior Thib has come out in effectively second position, because once Waitsy, Kingsome, and Janaudi pit, then Prior Thib will come out in second, unless the rain hits. But yeah, Prior Thib did jump Big Weir and Zayak. I think that was just down to pit strategy, maybe due to where the box was. But that's really good for Ford. This is great news for the Ford team, as Prior Thib will be in the battle for the race win today. And same with Waitsy as well, actually. Waitsy and Kingsome, and as well as Janaudi, all 3 will be in contention for the podium, because if they're staying out and the rain comes, and if they are in like P1 and maybe P4 or, you know, wherever, then they'll stay in those positions because everyone else will pit as well. So this is great news for those 3 drivers. We just gotta hope that they don't lose positions too quickly. And I'm just reminding myself about these liveries. These are absolutely phenomenal liveries. Each livery has its own taste. Force India livery definitely looks like the 2015-2016 Force India car. Apex's Jordan. That definitely looks like the 1999 car and the 1998 car, which won here. The Bentley. We have never seen Bentley in F1 before, if I'm not mistaken. Unless they were in the 1950s for like a race or two. I can't remember though, off the top of my head. But that Bentley car definitely looks like a Bentley. Braun's car definitely looks like the Braun. That is very, very similar to the Braun car, especially with no sponsors as well, because Braun never had any sponsors. And then that Ford, so much looks like the Tyrrell. I think it's the 019, 019, or I can't remember exactly what the car is named, but it's the 1991 or 1992 car. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but it so much looks like a 1990s Tyrrell F1 car, which is really cool to see. And it's pretty cool too, because Tyrrell, I do believe, used a few Ford cars in their time, or Ford engines in their time in F1. And there was a lot of Ford engines in the 1990s and 1980s and all the late 70s and 80s and all that area. As the safety car comes into the pit lane now, this is very interesting. So we will see Waitsy actually go now. He goes very early. And he's got a good start off of Kingsome, 0.5 of a second, separating the top 2. And, oh, interesting. We did have a comment that came in that said forecast has changed now to dry, full dry. So that's quite interesting. So we're not going to be seeing any more rain in the Grand Prix. I wonder if that was maybe, I don't know what happened there, but yeah, no rain as expected. So good to know. Thank you so much for that comment coming in. As we have Apex Finley right in the back of Kingsome. Look how close he is. He's going for the overtake already before the DRS assisted. They're coming down to the Kemmel Straight, coming down to turn 5. They are side by side. Kingsome and Apex Finley both want a good position in today's race, and they're going to try and keep it going. Oh, it's so close to contact. A little bit of wheel banging between the 2 drivers, but Kingsome has to back out of the position. Apex Finley will take second position in the Grand Prix, and that will be that. As Big Weir and Janowdy side by side as well. Nice battle going on here. Janowdy and Zayak now side by side. Oh, and Zayak is spun around. There's contact. There's a Bentley. Lucas. Massive crash. Zayak is out of the race. There's a Bentley out of the race as well. Brad is out. Lucas, Germany. There's a Force India. It's chaos happening right now. Chaos on lap 7. It's an actual repeat of the 1998 race in, I do believe it was at the turn 2, but my goodness. Lucas, Germany. Brad, Zayak. I think, who else was involved in that? I don't know, but oh my goodness, that was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. And that is so unfortunate for Brad and Zayak, both drivers out of the race on lap 7, and a massive crash, massive crash, and that is a full course safety car, unsurprisingly, as that will affect the racing. Oh my goodness. Big crash at turn 9, I do believe it is. As that is just heartbreaking for drivers like Brad and Zayak. Zayak looking for a great result in that Grand Prix, and yeah, it just wasn't meant to be apparently. Brad, his debut in the league ends in a DNF, which is also unfortunate for him. A lot of drivers coming into the pit lane. I'm sure the stewards will be looking into that incident, because that was a big one. Very big incident. But yeah, I'm sure the stewards will look into it. It's all good. We will continue on. Lap 8 is now, and we see a safety car coming out on track. I did not expect a second one, but of course, when there's a big crash, you gotta bring out that safety car. It's unsurprising. I guess it's surprising that the safety car came out so close after the safety car just came in, really. But yeah, like I mentioned, you have to have that safety car come out if there's an incident like that to clear away the debris in real life too, you know, and more so in real life, because you have to have the safety car out on track, because yeah, if there's a big crash like that, you got to clear away the debris, and it's it actually can be very dangerous. So we'll see. And there's a lot of debris on track, I do believe. There was a lot of debris. Anyway, Wade Seed leads us once again. Apex Finley got a great start. Made the move on Keensom up into P2 now. Prior Thib in P4 just behind Keensom. And Big Weir P5. Both Force Indias in the top 5 with 2 Fords in the top 5 as well. And Janowdy and James P6 and P7. Bentley running strong as well. And right now, the biggest, I guess the biggest team that are feeling from that crash is mainly Braun. Braun have really been affected by that one. As it was Zayak out of the race, Gronfeld down the order. Both were involved in that one, and yeah, I think they really were hurt by that crash, and they're gonna have to make a recovery drive. Their best driver that's in a good position right now is Cass, who's in the top 10. Remember, the top 15 score in a Grand Prix for this particular Formula 4 championship. So yeah, all drivers right now will score in today's race, but I'm sure they would have liked Zayak to join them as well. So a safety car goes out for another lap. We will get the racing underway on lap 9. And that will be that. Once we get the racing underway on lap 9, we will resume the racing. But right now, not much to talk about, I guess. We can talk about the future stuff that we're having here on LFR. As always, we have our break on Friday, but we do not have the LSR racing on the LGE YouTube channel for Saturday, as I mentioned earlier on. LSR is on break week for GT and F1, but we will have our event that is happening on Sunday that LFR is also involved in. So that will be the 2 hours of Le Mans race. It'll be our second edition of that Grand Prix, or the race itself, as it's going to be really cool. We're going to have some changeable weather conditions as well. Okay, so safety cars should be coming in this lap. We'll get the racing underway in a moment. Still a lot of stuff happening. A lot of stuff to happen in this Grand Prix. And I know this is not LFR or LSR or LGE related, but since we are mostly all Formula One fans that are watching this, or Formula One enthusiasts, I do want to ask, what's your guys' thoughts on the Spanish Grand Prix coming up? That's going to be a fun race, I'm sure. The Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia always hosts some fascinating Grand Prix. So yeah, what's your guys' thoughts on that one? Aston Martin possibly becoming the green Red Bulls. If you guys know what I mean, Aston Martin have basically copied Red Bull's car. It's almost the exact same situation from the pink Mercedes drama that was in 2020. So it seems that Aston has almost got the exact same car as Red Bull, which is quite interesting. So that's kind of the main story right now. Ferrari and Red Bull both bringing upgrades as well as pretty much almost all teams on the grid. But I think the biggest surprise is Aston Martin. They are going for an entirely new car, really. So they could be fighting for podiums and stuff like that very soon. So we'll find out. I'm excited for that. Anyway, Waitsy goes early again and restarts this race. He begins the race once again. We have a 5-second gap to Apex Finley and Waitsy. Apex will probably want to make that move on the Ford in P1 as soon as possible. Waitsy goes a little bit wide, maybe due to those tire wear on those on that Ford car. Those mediums might be degrading a little bit too much as Apex is looking for the move as we have a yellow flag. Is that a Jordan of Pistol Racing off the track? Yes, it is. As we see Shock Be Like and Gennady swapping positions there. Lucas Paul in the Ford is looking to make that move on Gennady as well. Let's see if this is going to be a move for the Ford driver. It's getting close. Oh, Lucas Paul got a little bit too much on the curb. A little bit of glitching going on there, I think, as he's trying to recover from that. Gronfeld's now going to get up into P10 now. So the Braun will get up there as Apex Finley has made the move for P1. Waitsy trying to make that move once again, but Apex has just got the better grip than the Ford driver, and he takes over as the race leader of the Belgian Grand Prix. What a start for him. And yeah, he'll continue to lead the Grand Prix. It'll be a great start for Apex Finley. So I think our closest battle might be for P5. Big Weir right on the back of Prior Thib. I think that's our closest battle right now. And Prior Thib on the back of Kingsholm as well. So we're seeing a nice battle going on here between Ford and Force India. And we're also seeing, I do believe, Gennady and Gronfeld having a good battle as well as Lucas Paul. So these three drivers going at it as the Ford looking for the move on the Bentley side by side. Coming into 16. As we come down into 17 and 18, Lucas Paul stays ahead of Gennady. Is Gennady going to make the move, though? Let's see. He's looking for the move, but doesn't make it. So Lucas Paul continues to lead that train of cars. And Gennady will be in P11. Maybe those tires are just dropping back a little bit too much for Gennady as Shug's Life is side by side with the Bentley driver coming down to La Sauce into turn 1. Is the Force India going to go around the outside? He's trying to make that overtake. The Bentley tries to keep it going, but the tire wear is just too much for Gennady, and Shug's Life takes over as the leader of that pack, and the Force India driver moves up into 11th position. And Flea could be looking for the overtake on Gennady as well. He's using ERS. As we see Kingsholm and Waitsy swapping positions there. Kingsholm gets ahead of Waitsy. As we see a nice battle going on here for P2. And that was a nice move from Kingsholm as well. Up in a second position and ahead of his rival in today's race. We see Big Weir and Prior Thib side by side. And Big Weir looking to get ahead. And he does. Nice clean round the outside move for the Force India. But Prior Thib is right behind the Force India of Big Weir. Is he going to look to make that overtake? He goes a little bit wide though. Maybe get a penalty. Thankfully he does not though. And James could be looking for that overtake very soon as well. And look at Big Weir. He has a lot more control over the car. I think that's just down to the tire wear between third and fourth right now. As there is a massive difference between the two tires here. As here comes Big Weir. Sector 3 yellow flag. That's Cass out of the session. Cass is out. Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness. Flea's out as well. And he went straight into Cass there. And that's a massive crash, another massive crash for the two drivers there. As a third safety car has been deployed, Apex Finley comes into the pit lane, same with Keensom. Big Weir stays out, Waitsy comes into the pit lane. And another safety car has been deployed due to the crash there for Cass and Flea. 13 drivers remain in the Grand Prix, but that is a third safety car deployed. And viewers, send in your predictions also for the Spanish Grand Prix. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the Spanish Grand Prix. Who do you think is going to win that one? Will it be a Verstappen win, a Leclerc win, someone else? Maybe Sainz, his home Grand Prix. I want to see Alonso get a podium. That would be awesome at his home Grand Prix. I'm sure Sainz, I actually want Sainz to do really well. He needs this. He needs the good result in his home Grand Prix. I think it will give him a huge confidence boost. I want to see Sainz win his home Grand Prix, and I want to see Leclerc win his home Grand Prix. We have a comment coming in from Zayak, I do believe. He says, Sebastian Vettel for the win. Ooh, that's a good prediction. If Aston Martin are actually that quick, it actually could be Sebastian Vettel going for a podium or something like that, or who knows, maybe even a win. Who knows? But yeah, Green Red Bull. That's really all I can say. Yeah, Sebastian Vettel. I want Vettel to do well. As rumors state that Vettel could be out of F1 this year. This could be his last Formula One season. And I've also heard that Alonso could be moving to Aston Martin next season, which would be a huge shocker, but it's looking likely it could happen, actually, because of the Piastri things that's been happening with Alpine. Because it's looking likely that it'll be Ocon and Piastri at Alpine, which I like Piastri, but I would rather see Alonso at Alpine. And I think it would be cool if Alonso moved to like McLaren or something like that. If Ricciardo's not doing so well, and maybe Alonso would move back to McLaren, that would be kind of cool. For a third time moving back to McLaren, kind of like what he did with Renault. I don't know. That would be kind of cool, though. But I've heard that he might be moving to Aston Martin to be Stroll's teammate, which would be kind of interesting. I don't know if that's a possibility, because there's rumors that say he is, and there's also rumors that are saying he's not, because there's rumors that are actually saying that he's moving to Red Bull. But I don't think that's the case, because they want Checo at the team. I would much rather have Perez at Red Bull. Even though Alonso will be pretty cool at Red Bull, I don't think he would fit as it would be a kind of a Ricciardo Verstappen situation all over again, because Alonso would be a very good driver and would be challenging Verstappen more so than Perez, I think. But I don't know. That's just something I don't think would happen. Anyway, I want to get back to the action though, because Big Bear is leading the race. Prior Thib P2, James P3. James has got a penalty somehow. He got a 3-second time penalty, I do believe, for contact. For track limits. Let's see. 3-second time penalty, not a 5-second penalty. We have another comment coming in that says, Lando has the longest streak of out-qualifying his teammate. Yeah, you are actually correct. Lando has been out-qualifying Ricciardo by quite a lot, actually. It's quite surprising to see that. And it's unfortunate because I really like Ricciardo. He's a really good driver, and it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate to see him not doing the best in Formula One. I don't know what's going on, but I'm hoping he figures it out. I'm hoping that he'll be able to continue to get good results, hopefully with Lando in the coming races. Okay, so we are waiting for the safety car coming into this lap, and it is coming into this lap now, so that's interesting. So safety car in this lap, Big Weir will lead us away by Prior Thib in P2, James in P3 for Bentley with Lucas Paul, and Shug's Life in P5 for Force India. Big Weir, will he go at the same place that he did with Waitsy? We will find out in a moment. But yeah, this is going to be very interesting. I cannot wait to see what is going to happen here. Big Weir right on the back of, or right in the opportunity to make the move on Prior Thib, or to... Anyway, Big Weir is going to possibly go on the exit of the bus stop chicane, and he actually goes a little bit before that in the corner. In the braking zone, he accelerates, and then he goes. So he gets a nice exit off of Prior Thib. That is a great start for Big Weir. James P3, Lucas Paul right there, as we see Apex Finley making the move on Lucas A. Germany. These two very, very high-class drivers here as Apex Finley moves himself up into 6th position. Lucas A. Germany in P7. Keensom on the softs as well. Waitsy as well in that Ford. As all three drivers on the softs, watch out for them coming through the field. They could be making a lot of overtakes in the coming laps, as Lucas A. Germany under threat from Keensom in the Force India. And it looks like Shug's Life is also under threat from Apex Finley, as there goes Keensom making the move on. Oh, and Apex Finley's around. Apex Finley off the track, and the Jordan car is around, and that is incredibly unfortunate for Apex Finley, who's moved down the order now, and that has potentially ruined his chances of becoming the race winner of the Belgian Grand Prix today. Keensom looking for the move on Lucas A. Germany. What happened there, though? I am not completely sure. There was contact, though, with Shug's Life and with Shug's Life and Apex Finley, as Keensom is going to try and go around the outside of the Bentley into Campus. We go, and he does make the overtake, and here comes Waitsy as well in the Ford to the inside, makes the move, and I think Lucas is starting to struggle with the tires there, as the Bentley driver is down to P8 now, and we see Keensom making the move on his teammate. Is there team wars between the two drivers? I think there might be, as Keensom moves himself up into P5, and there's a yellow flag. I do believe that's Gronfeld off the track for Braun. Let's catch up and see what happened to him. He is off the track, wing damage everywhere. There's debris everywhere, and the Braun driver has moved down the order. It has been a very, very, very difficult race for Braun today, and it looks like they won't be able to score any top 10 finishes in today's race, but hopefully they'll come back stronger. So Big Weir has got a second lead off of Prior Thib. James about a second to Prior Thib as well, and Keensom starting to chase after Lucas Paul in the Ford, and Waitsy right there in the background. He could be making the move on Keensom, and it's possible that these two could be going for a race victory today. Could be between these two for the race victory. Or it will be Big Weir taking 4 wins in a row, which would be pretty insane. We'll see how that works out, but I mean, look at LSR in Group 1. Betham has taken 6 wins in a row and has dominated the entire championship. He's already won the Group 1 championship, and he's been incredibly consistent, really, and dominant, really, throughout it. And yeah, it was confirmed earlier today that Betham was the Group 1 champion of LSR, just to confirm about that. So yeah, domination. It's understandable. I mean, a lot of drivers have done it in the Formula 1 past as well. And Big Weir really dominating this championship right now, and he's just had some very consistent pace and has been able to get some good results. But he's got to make sure that he continues to do that today, because he's got Prior Thib right behind him now. He's within the DRS zone to DRS range to Big Weir now, 9/10 of a second. And if Prior Thib is able to get within DRS come the Camel Straight, then he's going to have a good opportunity to make the move on Big Weir and close up to that Force India driver. As we see Apex Finley and Pistol Racing swapping positions for Jordan DRS is now enabled. Apex Finley, P9 now, is making his way through the field and could be in contention for a podium today. Fastest lap as well for Apex Finley and making his recovery drive. He could be on the back of Shug's Life anytime soon. We'll see if Apex will be able to make that move on the Camel straight. He's got DRS, so this could be big, as we see also Kingshelm making the move on Lucas Paul. Here comes the Force India, DRS enabled, like the Force India's tried to challenge Vettel and Hamilton in 2018 down to this particular corner, and that was for the race victory as well. This time, Kingshelm makes the move on Lucas Paul, and this edges him closer and closer to the race victory of the Belgian Grand Prix. And wouldn't this be great for Kingshelm if he's able to get not just up on the podium, but possibly even into P1? We'll find out, as Apex Finley has made the move on Shug's Life. He has done that, and now is into P8 of the Grand Prix. And this is a commanding performance from Apex Finley, who's making his way back through the field, and is looking to try and make the move on Lucas A. Germany, as we see Waitsy making the move on Lucas Paul as well. Maybe team orders between the two, I'm not exactly sure. Oh, Lucas Paul loses the car a little bit there. That was close, but thankfully he continued on. So anyway, Kingshelm right in the back of James. He's got to make this move quickly, because otherwise Waitsy is going to be right in the back of him, and this could give the opportunity for Waitsy to win the Grand Prix into his hands. So we'll see how this works out. So Kingshelm right behind James. He's going to go for the overtake. No, he backs off. He cannot make the overtake quite yet. And that's going to allow Waitsy to close up even more. Look how close he is to Kingshelm now. And that might have just been the championship, or sorry, the race winning decider. We don't know, though, as Apex Finley now sets the fastest lap of the race. Kingshelm trying to go for the switchback maneuver. Waitsy, though, on the inside line. He's trying to make that move on Kingshelm. He could be going for it anytime soon, and Apex Finley's also joined the fight here. He's got to get past Lucas Paul and Lucas A. Germany, as both drivers will have to defend against Apex Finley. And once Apex gets past these two drivers, he could be making the move for P3. Actually, Kingshelm's already doing that, as he's made the move on James and gets up into third position. That's crucial for him to get up into third. And now Waitsy's got to make the move on James. Let's see if he's going to be able to go for that with the power of the straight line speed and the grip. And there's contact. There is contact between the two. Waitsy and James make contact. That's not good, as it looks like Waitsy went for a move, pushed James a little bit too wide there, in my opinion, as Lucas A. Germany has been overtaken by Apex Finley, and Apex Finley's also made the move on Lucas Paul, and Paul has now been overtaken by Finley, and Finley's now going to be right on the back of James, maybe looking for the overtake and trying to get ahead of Waitsy as well. We'll find out in a moment, and he's already up into a top 5 position because James has got that penalty. So this is very interesting, and Kingshelm 1.7 seconds behind prior Fib. He's got to start gaining time on that Ford driver if he's going to have a chance of winning this Grand Prix today. Apex Finley right behind James. Is he going to try and go for the move? I would do it if I had the opportunity. As Apex looking for the overtake, and he is. He's going to go for it. He has to. He has to. As a driver, as a racer, he has to. James goes defensive, and it looks like Apex and James make a little bit of contact there. Apex gets ahead, though, and he does get ahead of James in that Bentley, and is now going to be right behind Waitsy, so he had to go for it, but there was a little bit of contact between the two drivers there, which was a little unfortunate, but that's okay. They continue on. As we see the battle forming in for P2, Kingshelm has joined the fight as well. Kingshelm is going to be behind prior Fib anytime soon. 7/10 separating second and third position, and I think Kingshelm could be going for the overtake anytime soon now. And he's got to do it before those softs start wearing down as well, and they're already wearing down, I'm assuming, but he's got to do it as fast as possible. And wouldn't this be incredible? Kingshelm from the back of the grid, remember, he started at the back of the grid. Let's quickly get that information out on our screen. He's gained 15 positions. So he started P18 in the race, and he's gained all that time. So Kingshelm, this would be one of the best drives ever, I would say, in racing. We'll see if he's able to do it today, as the safety cars helped him out, and that strategy was really good as well. And Waitsy also trying to make his way through the field and possibly get up into the top 3 positions. But we'll find out. It's Apex Finley right in the back of Waitsy. And I've been waiting to see this battle because these two are very, very quick. They're on the same strategy here, and now we're going to witness it. As we see a little bit of contact between the two. It's all good, though. As Apex is trying to make the move on Waitsy. Goes down the inside on the Ford driver. Waitsy going for the switchback maneuver, but Apex gets ahead. Apex gets ahead, but was that strategy there? Was that strategy by Waitsy to get right behind Apex Finley and then use the DRS to make the move on the Camel Straight? Let's find out if that was the strategy for Waitsy. We don't know exactly, but we'll know in a few laps time. So Keensom has to go for the overtake on Prior Thib here. He has to. DRS enabled for both drivers. ERS as well. Keensom and Prior Thib. Keep it clean, guys. Prior Thib as Keensom makes the overtake. What a move from the Force India driver. Nice send to the inside, and Keensom moves himself up into second position, and now Luke is ahead of him, his teammate, Big Weir in P1, and the person that could stop Big Weir's chances of a fourth win in a row could be Keensom. Let's find out. And it should be next lap for this battle to continue on. So we'll see how this works out. Meanwhile, Apex Finley has got a gap around 0.8 of a second to Waitsy. And that gap should be increasing in the next few laps. So we're now lap 19 out of 22. Let's focus on this battle. Yellow flag, that is Gronfeld off the track again. I think a spin off of turn 5. Let's take a look. Yes, I do believe so. It's been a difficult day for Gronfeld and the whole Braun team, as it has not gone well for them. As yellow flag, that is Shug's Life out of the session. Is that going to cause any yellow flag? Yes! Oh, wow! Safety car. A fourth safety car has been deployed. That has maybe changed everything. Apex Finley, Lucas Paul, Lucas A. Germany, all into the pit lane. Is that going to change everything? I don't know. I mean, we're on 3 laps to go. So either way, safety car is coming in this lap. So it shouldn't affect too much. Oh no, it will though. It totally will. Because now the DRS is now there's no more DRS because the safety car has been deployed. So this is old-fashioned racing. If Keensom wants to win this race, he's got to get past Big Weir on pure pace. And if Big Weir wants to win this race, he's got to defend like a champion here. And I don't know what is going to happen here, because the safety car, the regulations state that the safety car, well, in this game, the safety car must go in with 3 laps to go. It has to. It cannot stay out till the end of the Grand Prix. That's not really an option in the game right now. I don't know if it will be on the F1 2022 game. We'll probably find out more information on that in due time. But right now, the safety car has to come in either... Wait. It has to come out on... Oh my goodness. That's a very interesting situation, because now we will get 1 lap of action. I think we will get 1 lap of action. Wow. So Keensom has got to fully get the best exit he's ever gotten in a F1 game. We'll see. Because... I don't know. I don't know what to say, because this never really happened in my my commentary career, where I've seen a safety car come out on the final 2 laps and it's most likely coming in on the final lap of the Grand Prix. I don't think I've seen that before, because of the safety car thing, that the safety car must come in within 3 laps. But it's been enabled on the last 3 laps of the race. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if that's the case for these drivers today. It may finish. I don't think it can finish under safety car, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. So Big Weir on lap 21. This is the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. 2 laps to go. Big Weir will lead us away. Will the safety car come in this lap, or will it come in, or will it not come in, actually? It's either that. Will it come in on this lap and provide us with 1 lap of overtaking, 1 lap of action, or will it not go away? Will the safety car finish the race? I don't know. And this is incredibly interesting now, Because if it does, I think it has to go in this lap. Even if the grid is not catched up. I think it has to. And so that's great news because that means that we're going to get one hell of a race to end off this Belgian Grand Prix between Big Weir, Kingsholm, Prior Fib, Waitsy, and the rest of the field, really, as this could be huge. Apex Finley is going to want to make that move on his teammate, try and get up into a top 3 finish in the Grand Prix. This is going to be big. It's really, though, all between first and second position, the two Force India drivers, and I'm sure they're just going to let them race. Of course, Big Weir is in this for the championship, and yeah, I don't know. This is going to be really intense. Get ready, viewers, for one of the most intense final laps of a Grand Prix here in LFR, and we're going to be covering it all. As the safety car should be going in this lap. We'll get more confirmation in a few moments' time. Let's see. Let's see. Sector 2 line is about to end, and the safety car should be called in this lap. Let's see. Yes, it is. It's being called in this lap. One lap of racing. Here we go. Let's go. Big Weir is going to lead us away. Kingsholm P2, Prior Fib in P3. This is going to be incredibly close between these drivers. One lap of racing. Anything can happen in the Belgian Grand Prix. And this is going to be one of the craziest ends to a race. The question now is, it's all about the restart. It's all about the restart. Big Weir has got to get the perfect restart. And Kingsholm's got to get a perfect restart too. It's all about who gets the better restart. I'm going to ride on board with Kingsholm, actually, and see. Big Weir warming up his tires. He's getting ready. Where does he go? He goes now. He goes now. Big Weir goes now, but he goes a little bit deep into that corner. He goes a little bit deep into that corner. Kingsholm's going to be right on the back of him. But Big Weir actually got a pretty good exit out of turn 20. One lap to go in this Grand Prix. Abu Dhabi flashbacks as Apex has made the move on Pistol Racing. Now trying to make the move on Waitsy as well. He could be going for this for the podium today. Apex Finley could be going for this, but look at this. Kingsholm, he's got to use every ounce of ERS he's got. Waitsy got a 3-second time penalty. Apex Finley, all he's got to do is overtake Waitsy and then make the move on Prior Fib as we have Shock Be Like out of the race, spinning off at a Rouge. And Kingsholm cannot make the move on Big Weir as Apex Finley has made the move on Waitsy. Apex Finley has got it. Could Apex make the move for the race victory? Could Apex do it? Let's find out. This is one lap to go. He's got to overtake 3 cars in one lap. He's got to make this overtake. He's got to do it. He's pushing to the absolute maximum on this Jordan car to give Jordan their best results of the season. Let's find out. Prior Fib right ahead. Can Apex Finley make the move? He's using the ERS. He's trying to go for it. He's trying to go for it around the outside. He has to. He has to go for it if he's going to challenge for the race victory today. Prior Fib and Apex Finley side by side. Apex has got ahead. This is intense. This is crazy. This is crazy stuff. This is absolutely insane. One straight to go. And we know how powerful the slipstream is. Kingsholm has to go for this. He has to do this. He has to go for it. If he's going to win this Grand Prix ERS enabled, he has to try and make that overtake. We're on the final lap of the Grand Prix. 2 corners to go. Is Kingsholm going to try it? Big Weir defense. Kingsholm goes around the outside on the final corner, but he goes too late. He goes too late. He goes too late. Kingsholm get the penalty in the process. And now Apex Finley now. Apex Finley is going to do it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe what has just happened now on the final corner of the Grand Prix. Apex Finley took advantage of that and has got the race victory. He overtook 4 cars in one lap. And Apex Finley, out of absolute nowhere, has snatched the race victory. Oh my goodness. What an end. What an end to the Belgian Grand Prix. Kingsholm, what could have been situation for him. And Apex Finley stops Big Weir's triumphs of the race winner. And he does it. I cannot believe it. Jordan pick up their first race victory of the season, and we know how well Jordan have gone here in the past in Formula 1. Apex has proved that. And he's proved that he's got the pace. From the very start of this stream, we said Apex Finley's got the pace, and he sure has. What an end. That has to be one of the the craziest ends to an LFR Grand Prix I've ever commentated on. Apex Finley made 4 overtakes in the final lap of the Grand Prix to win the Belgian Grand Prix. Big weir P2 for the Force India team. He does not get his 4th win of the season, his 4th win in a row as well. But he does come home with P2 and another P2 finish for the Force India driver. Prior Thib in P3 does make it up onto the podium, and Keensum, oh, I think he just, I think he locked up. It wasn't the greatest corner for him, and I think he tried everything. He really did, and I think he just, unfortunately, I think just missed the braking there, and unfortunately got a 3-second time penalty because of that. But I'm speechless. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Apex Finley, the race winner of the Belgian Grand Prix as it stands without the stewards' decisions. But what a race. My voice is gone. Apex Finley wins the Belgian Grand Prix. Big weir P2, Prior Thib in P3. What a race. What a race. That was epic to watch. That was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. A great race here in LFR. Apex Finley, your race winner of the Grand Prix. I'm sure he'll be very happy with that result. Wow. Absolutely astonishing. Great race. Absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so I think we're just waiting for to kind of end off the stream, actually. I think that's going to do everything. I'm trying to remember what the calendar was like, what the next race is, but I can't find the calendar for some reason. Anyway, all good. We will be back for the next one. Unfortunately, I'm not sure exactly what race it is. If you guys know, please let me know now so I can say that to our stream members that are joining us right now, as I can't see the calendar for some reason on the Discord server. But yeah, that's going to conclude things here today for the LFR Championship. What a race here in the Thursday Formula 4 Championship. Your race winner for now is Apex Finley. Unless there's any stewards' decisions that come out that change the results, we'll let you guys know in the next one. But join us for round 6 in the next race next week, of course, before we head into the month of June. But yeah, I've been Formula Jonah, your commentator for the Formula 4 Championship. That was round 5 of the Belgian Grand Prix. One of the best ends to a Grand Prix I've ever witnessed. It was truly phenomenal. So, viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Subscribe to the channel to see more LGE content. Like the video if you enjoyed it as well. And we'll be back for the event starring LSR and LFR on Sunday on the GT7 game, and then after that we'll be returning for the Limitless 1 tier on Monday next week. So, viewers, thank you so much for watching again, and we'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.